Joining us in the D11sports.com studios today is John Truby, the head football coach at Liberty High School. Sahaydak, the all-star kicker for Liberty High School, a junior. And guys, thanks for taking some time here at D11 Sports.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
John, I'll begin with you. Obviously, COVID-19, coronavirus has taken over not only the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, the United States, the world. Did you ever envision it would be this complicated, this bad?
No, to be honest with you, this is meeting and exceeding all expectations of what a pandemic brings and how life changes so drastically. Being a history major, I know this has happened before, but just to be going through it, and it hasn't happened since 100 years in our country, just to be going through it like this, I never thought being a head football coach just would be something else I would have to tackle.
Sandra, for you on a student side, what are you feeling through all this, and did you ever expect or anticipate anything like this?
No, I never in a million years thought something like this would happen. It's definitely a challenge now trying to get, new concepts and schoolwork done through videos and just different websites online. So it's definitely harder than just being there.
Well, let's talk about that for, first things first. Online for both of you. We got a teacher and we got a student. John, for you, as a teacher, you like to be in the classroom. You like to see the face. You like to talk to them. You're seeing my face. You never like seeing my face in public, but now you probably want to see me in public, right?
Listen, I like seeing your face after a win. Sometimes after a loss, it's not the greatest thing to have to talk to reporters, but no, I teach an elective, so I get new kids every marking period. The new crew of kids that I have, some of them I've never met before, so I don't know. It's really doing it online has been a real struggle just from that human connection side, because you just can't really grab a kid in class and have a conversation with them. Everything's through email, and in high school kids so far haven't been the best on Zoom so far. So we'll see. It's a challenge. It's even a challenge for my little guy. I got a 5-year-old who just he misses his friends. He misses being at school, and dad's not the best kindergarten teacher is what we're finding out. So it's been a struggle on a lot of fronts.
So not smarter than a 5th grader, but maybe not as smart as the kindergarten, right?
I will say my handwriting is much improved after learning and going through all the letters. But for the most part, it's a struggle. And I know even for my high school guys, it's a struggle. They want to be around their friends. Xander missed out on a chance to be on the track team this spring and demonstrate how good of an athlete he is in another sport. And even for that senior class, like they are going to miss out on prom, maybe even graduation. It's just really tough for everybody.
Sander, what about for yourself and, dealing with, hey, I'm going on a Zoom meeting. Like, I don't even know if you wanted to do this Zoom meeting because you probably are doing Zoom meetings with school, but you're adapting. And sometimes for students, the adapting is a little frustrating, but at the same time, you're like, hey, if that's what we have to do, that's how we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely way different than a couple months ago or a month ago. Just trying to get used to and accustomed to everything that's happening now. So online school, interviews like these, different stuff like that. So,
all right, let's talk about sports. It's something that we obviously want to talk about. And John, this is you knew when you kind of plucked him out there from soccer field saying, hey, this guy maybe, but football coaches have been trying to do this forever. They're like, they walk over to the soccer field, they're like, well, that guy can kick. Maybe let it try him out. Then you have the problem of, is he going to get here on time because of a soccer game? But I think you're happy that A, he got there from a soccer game, and B, that you have him as a player here.
Yeah, and I really got to thank two moms. I got to thank Xander's mom and also Gail McLaughlin, who's married to one of my coaches in a booster club, because this really came from, just people having a relationship and understanding. And Xander, when he came out, it was just, I remember the first time he kicked the ball just sounded different coming off his foot. And that's when you can kind of tell, all right, this kid, there's something here. And a lot of credit to Xander. He did 2 sports. He never once made me feel like we were the second sport or, soccer was really big with his family. He did a really great job for us for 2 years. And then this past season, you could just see all the work kind of click at the right time. And really, I'm now scouring 8th grade soccer fields all over the Bethlehem area to try to find another Xander Sahaydak, because it's been great.
So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? Get the rehabilitation you need. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's.
Xander, for you, how do you feel about this past season when you started kicking those field goals? Let's go back to the East Penn Conference record that you had against Central Catholic. in practice, you practice that, but in a game situation, and then you nailed it. What went through your mind there, and did you feel confident that you were going to make that kick?
Yeah. So I mean, in practice, it's definitely different than being in front of everyone watching, just you. So during the game, I mean, I definitely felt a little pressured, just because of all the eyes on me. And then just right after seeing the ball in the air and going through the post, it's just relief knowing that you did what you had to do. But then you come to the realization that that's just one play, and now you have to go do it again. Maybe later in the game or for the rest of the year.
John, take us through that kick and what happened there.
Well, it's honestly, it's one of my favorite stories, being a football coach, because right before that play, it was going to be a 40, do the math. It was going to be a 48-yard field goal. We had one of our players jump off sides, and I hit a quick timeout just because, all right, 48's long, now 53. That's a heck of a kick for a high school kid. And I remember when I walked out to Sander, I looked at him, I was like, Sander, do you got this? He's like, Coach, just let me do it. I got it. No problem. And I walked back over the sideline. I didn't even use the rest of the timeout. Sander just showed a lot of confidence in his want to go out there and do it. And then after he did it, it was just I didn't even know it was the record at that point. I knew it was far, but after hearing it was the record, I was really just very happy for Sander, because the amount of work that he puts in and the amount of time that goes into being the kicker of his caliber, just to get that kind of notoriety is pretty cool.
All right. That all said, he kicks 53. In these camps, he's kicking in the 60s. We've seen other high school kids around here, have success, in kicking. We've seen him, the kid from Emmaus a couple of years ago, there's been some kickers. What makes him different? What makes him, when you see him go on the field, like sometimes they always say, oh, the kicker, well, you're going to make it. Yeah, you don't make it like this. But at the same time, you got to be excited, not only as a coach, a coaching staff, but the players looking, he's kicking this thing, and this is 53 yards. He's kicking this thing, it's going to be 45 yards, knowing that you have the confidence there. What goes through your mind watching him?
For me, for next year, it kind of stems from a couple of things. I mean, Xander is pregame, you actually see other kids on the other team and other coaches on the other team. They'll watch Xander as he's warming up, and as he gets farther back and farther back, like it's almost like everyone just takes a moment and just watches what he's doing. So right there, you have something special, because that doesn't happen before a game very often with kickers. Another thing for me about Xander is his confidence level. It was a 53-yarder kick was a big kick for us. But Xander had I think honestly his best game was our last game against Freedom High School. Xander was 4 for 4, and he had at that time the game-winning kick, and there's just no doubt. I think his confidence level, he's going to go out there, he's going to execute his job, because he's done it so many times prior to that in practice. I really have to commend him on that. As a head coach, I have no doubt next year, we cross the 50, we're in range, and he's going to get that opportunity to go ahead and do that. And I'm not going to second guess it. I'm actually going to be more worried about the other 10 guys on the field goal team than I am about the kicker.
Sander, you're smirking there. You're like, whoa, he's going to give me a shot from the 50. All right, well, this is good. You're getting a bunch of D1 offers right now. You're a soccer player turned to a football player. How are you taking all this in and saying, oh, I got Rutgers, I got Penn State, I got Army, and more and more are going to be coming? Take us through, getting those initial talks and what it means to you.
Yeah, so I feel like going from thinking that I'm playing college and soccer to now going to play football in college, it's definitely a different animal. And thinking now that I'm talking to coaches and getting offers from places that have 80 to 100,000 people at their games, and just thinking about how I get to be a part of that, and to me it's almost like playing a professional sport. Like I feel like that's what it's going to feel like to me at the time, and I'm just super excited to get to be on that stage and just show what I can do.
Come fall, are you playing football and soccer again, or are you just going to play football, or you haven't decided yet? Or is that a tough question still?
I think right now I'm just going to focus on football. Just with everything that's happening to me, I think that's kind of my path into college, and hopefully after college. But right now that's what I've come to.
St. Luke's Pediatrics delivers the care you expect for your child, now and for their future. Choose a St. Luke's pediatrician today.
John, okay, he kicks field goals. Great. 50 yards, 55 yards. I use this, jokingly. But when you kick off in a high school and the other team cannot return the football, that is, you always talk about offense, defense, special teams. You got a kicker that kicks the ball that can't be returned. That's a triple bonus.
Absolutely. And like for us for next year, having the ability that he's going to be able to put it in the end zone consistently, because he was very good this past year. I think the only game we had an issue was Emmaus, and we had a little bit of a cleat malfunction during the Emmaus game that caused a lot of the issues. So he's very consistent. But like to start a high school team off at their own 20 and having to drive the rest of the field, I mean, the math behind it is just, it's insane how few times that ends in a touchdown for that team. It's just based off just simple math and things like that. But for us, this next season, I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on kickoff, because I have a kicker that's potentially going to be putting the ball in the end zone as much as he is going to be. It's really going to change the way we practice and the way we do things, just because you have that added caveat that I don't have to worry about this. It's going to be in the end zone, and we're just not going to have to worry about coverage and all that other stuff that goes along with a lot of the good kickoff return teams we face.
I guess we're not going to see that many onside kicks, right?
No, I don't. Well, listen,
unless you absolutely need it, right?
If the situation dictates, but I hopefully, with us next year, I'm telling my assistant coaches that we're going to take 3 and we're going to put them on their 20. That's our goal. I was like, that's honestly, at the end of the day, I saw it against Freedom. He kicked in arguably our biggest game of the year, and it was 4 for 4, and there's no questions. And the next kicks were all in the end zone. So, having to start a team off like that gives our defense an added bonus. And honestly, it's even the kids, like I don't doubt that next year the field goal team is going to be one of the most anticipated battles between kids wanting to be on that, just because we have a kid right now that if it comes to it, I'm going to let him try for the state record next year. I don't, we'll have to be smart about it if there's 30-mile-per-hour gale winds in our face and, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, Xander has the type of talent that he should be in the record books for the state, in my opinion.
Well, the state record is 64 yards, if I'm not mistaken. And, you talk about the NFL record, you're right in that mix. And, that says a lot, for Xander and what he's been doing. But Xander, for you, you're a lefty. That's even another bonus, for you. There's so many additives here in this. But Xander, when you kick off the football, how have you improved over the last year, and how comfortable are you just kicking that ball away?
Yeah, so I think this past summer was definitely the biggest thing for me, because that's kind of when I switched towards thinking about my future with football. So I think I put more time into working on my technique and getting more flexible. And I think just growing, like from sophomore year to junior year, I think I put on weight and just added strength. So I think that helped me. And then definitely confidence. So my sophomore year, kickoffs weren't great. I think I only had 5 or 6 touchbacks all year. And then going into summer practices and just hitting them out of the back of the end zone pretty much every time, it put me into like a mindset where I knew that it was going to be a touchback. So that's all that I was thinking about, and I didn't really worry about anything else than just hitting the ball in the right spot and hitting it hard.
And I don't know if you've done this or got close to it. Have you ever kicked it off and went through the uprights? Did it go through yet? That's what I want to know.
I have.
You have.
Yeah.
And John, when you see that, John, then what are you thinking?
I'm so pumped for this year. I can't wait. I just can't wait for this year, just even from a special team standpoint, just to be able to like have that and watch it. Cause I've never seen that in a football game live. I've never seen it. And to have that happen live, I just think for our side, it should just be a huge added bonus from just a pump up standpoint, and really just be a great thing for Liberty High School next year.
Before I let you guys go, your final thoughts of maybe concerns going into the fall. John, I'll start with you. Are you concerned about football in the fall, either being delayed or being halted? Is that something that continues to go through your mind? And then Xander, you can follow up after he's done.
I honestly, that's one of the hardest questions right now, just because from a standpoint of at Liberty, I have 33 seniors next year. And I already know our summer is going to be different than it already has been in years past. We usually start right away in the end of June, and we can't. We got to wait till July. I hope for them that we are able to get around this COVID-19 situation, but I completely understand if Governor Wolf and the powers that be have to make a difficult decision, just because I think they understand how important high school football is for not just Liberty and Bethlehem, but everywhere else in the state of Pennsylvania. It's a really big deal. Now, having said that, I am praying every single day that there's nothing more after July 1st, that we can get out there and get after it. But at the end of the day, I'm just hopeful that our people in charge do the right thing for society and the community, and we'll deal with it as it comes.
Xander?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a high school senior football player. So I mean, obviously, I'm gonna want the season to happen. I want everything. Like I would want to go out now if it weren't for anything going on. Um, but obviously, I understand about safety. Like that's definitely a priority for everyone. So I completely. I mean, I don't want it to happen, but I would completely understand if anything would alter what happens with our season or anything before that. So.
Uh, and last thing for Xander, when are you thinking of making a college choice? Would you want to make it before the season started? Is that something that you and your family are talking about, or are you going to just wait and see what happens as you go through the year?
Yeah. So I mean, ideally, I would love to make a decision before the season starts, sometime this summer. I'm just taking my time with everything right now, just seeing what options open up for me. Um, yeah. So I don't really have a exact date or time frame for when I'm making a decision right
All right, Xander Sahaydak and John Truby from Liberty High School. Thanks for joining us in our D11 Sports Studio. Enjoy the day and be safe, and we'll see you down the road on the football field going for that state record. I know everyone's going to be anticipating and waiting for that. Have a great afternoon.
now. Yeah. Absolutely. You too.
Thank you very much. You too.